Well, the Forest Service, first it starts out as politics.
Yes.
They want Congress to think, oh my God, give us more money. Then it got to the point where there's nothing they can do. Nothing. It's been 25%
It depends.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
We could start. I don't think we'll get anybody else, right?
No. Who's going to object?
Good morning. Welcome to the Planning Commission, September 9, 2015. Roll call, please. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Here.
Bailey's absent, and he did notify us that he would be absent today, Commissioners. Elliott,
Here.
Diaz,
Here?
Whitlatch,
Here.
Piliano,
Here.
Aguilar, absent.
Okay, stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll move on to item 2, public comment. At this time, members of the public may make a comment. Did you want to make a comment, sir? Oh, yeah, you're right, we did. We started a minute early. But let the record reflect that Mr. Aguilar is here.
Noted.
Got to jump.
You get in.
Got a big agenda today.
Okay, let's go to item 2, public comment. At this time, members of the public may comment on any items not appearing on the agenda. Under state law, matters presented under the item cannot be discussed or acted upon by the Planning Commission at this time. For items appearing on the agenda, the public will be invited to make comments at the time the item comes up for Planning Commission consideration, so that all interested parties have an opportunity to speak. Any person addressing the Planning Commission may be limited to discretion at the discretion of the chair. At all times, please use the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Anybody wishing to make public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Item 3, approval of the minutes.
I just wanted to, it did say that the sign-up for the Planning Commission will be available September 1st. They have not gone live yet, so I just want to make that note. That's certainly correct the way you have it there, but they should be going live later this week. But other than that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who second?
Bill.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Piliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to item 4A, special use permit number PSP 15027, Paramount Citric, Leonard Braken and President Dorm Gasca and Company. This is for a category exemption and special use permit number PSP 15-027 to allow the installation of one 30,000-gallon propane tank for the above-ground storage of flammable liquid exceeding the aggregate 10,000-gallon maximum allowed being stored above ground on a 60-acre parcel in the AE20 zone. The site is located on property located approximately 1,800 feet west of Road 224 and 700 feet north of County Lane Avenue, east of Ridge Cove, and the contact is Dana.
Thank you. Good morning. And as mentioned, a 30,000-gallon propane tank. And the project is categorically exempt from CEQA pursuant to Title 14, Section 15303, Class 3, pertaining to new small structures. I don't know if I'm pushing the wrong button here or... Right, and entitlement is found in Section 16, Part 2B of Ordinance 352, which allows the flammable liquids exceeding the aggregate 10,000 gallons pursuant to approval of a special use permit. And the project is consistent with these general plan policies The project was also found to be consistent with the Tulare County General Plan policies in Section 15 regarding above-ground storage of flammable liquids. The project is located east of Rich Grove, just on County Line Road, and it borders on the county with Kern County, north side of the road, of course. It's located in the AE20 zone. The tank will be located in this general area, if I can get my right around in here. This parcel is part of the project, these 4 parcels here. And the tank will be on this parcel. Here's an aerial view. The site plan, well, that's site plan. Here's the site plan illustrating the nearest residence to the southwest being approximately 1,000 and an equipment yard to the northwest being approximately 100 feet, and a residence beyond that being about 5,300 feet.
Hey, go back to that, the one you were just on, please. I think that says Avenue 244.
That may
Cannot be.
Road.
Dana, I'm sure that
Even 244 would be a long ways from 216, so
let's
that's
see what
probably
it
altogether
says.
wrong.
There's Road 224.
Oh, okay.
So that is a little off, but any other questions?
I'm sure the residents in Kern County was noticed on this. Is that
If they're within 300 feet, they would have been. And we can look at the noticing map, which,
Says 1,000, so.
except the site you see right there on that 140 right there, that's called the site. Wouldn't that qualify as being within 300 feet?
all of the pink areas are notified by mail.
Oh, okay, so then you did get them. All right.
Okay, this is a site plan demonstrating all of the piping that will go through the 4 separate parcels. And this is the site plan for the tank and the concrete platform and all of the other items that are required for that. And here is the noticing map, and the project was noticed according to the law. All of those pink projects are within 300 feet of the entire project, not only the tank. Okay? And staff's recommendation is that the Planning Commission approve a categorical exemption consistent with CEQA and conditionally approve number PSP 15-027.
Any other comments from the board? I'm going to open the public comment section. Anybody wishing to speak in favor or opposed to this project, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, we're going to close the public comment and move on to the recommendation.
This is similar to what we've done half a dozen of these, and we haven't had any trouble with them up to now, have we?
Right.
They've done a real good job and been a good neighbors and everything like that.
Yes, and we have a good contractor.
Sure.
This company, too, has demonstrated their responsibilities. I think it's a good project.
Well, then, having said that, then I'll make a motion that we approve a categorical exemption consistent with CEQA. And let's see. And to conditionally approve special use PSP 15-027.
I second that.
It's moved in second. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
Yes.
Piliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Okay, motion's been approved for
Thank you.
PSP 15-027. Let's move on to item 4B, special use permit PSP 14-021. Marcel Numes. This is a category exemption and special use permit number PSP 14-021, to allow a contractor storage yard from his home, utilizing the eastern 1.51 acre of the property for parking, delivery trailers, and storage for his business of Tres Arrenderas Farm Labor Services. The site is A1 zone, and surrounding areas to the south and east are zone A1, AE40 zone. The site is located on the east side of the extended portion of Road 128, approximately 310 feet north of Avenue 80, and in the hamlet development boundary of Teviston?
Teviston.
And the contact is, I guess.
Chairman Gong, Commissioners, I am Aaron Bach, Chief Planner, RMA. Before you today, a special use permit, PSP 14-021. The applicant, Misael Nunes, has applied for this use permit to allow a contractor storage yard from his home, and this is based on an existing violation, and this permit would clean up that violation. The project was determined to be categorically exempt pursuant to Title 14, Section 15301N, the conversion of single-family residence to office use. The project is compatible with this exemption because the provisions for home occupation allow the owner-occupant to operate a commercial use from a separate building in the zone it is located within, subject to a special use permit approval. As stated, the subject site is located on the east side of the extended portion of Road 128. This is right along Highway 99, and approximately 310 feet north of Avenue 80, and in the hamlet in the boundary of Teviston. The subject site in this project was noticed according to the law, property owners on the 27th of August, and published in the Visalia Times Delta on the 28th of August. With a 10-day public comment period. No comments were received from anybody at this point. The applicant, as stated, has requested a special use permit. The site itself is zoned A1 for agricultural with a 5-acre minimum. The Tres Arrenderas Farm Labor Services operates there currently, and as stated, this permit will bring them into compliance. The entitlement for this project is found under Section 16, Part 2B of Ordinance Number 352, as amended. And again, with your approval, this project would come into compliance and meet the zoning and the Section 16 for use permits.
Aaron, we don't differentiate between an agricultural contractor and a contractor like myself.
Section 16 doesn't differentiate. I think it's made easier by agricultural services, but no, Section 16 doesn't necessarily differentiate. Just as long as stated it is secured and fenced off, then we allow those under our zoning.
Aaron, do we have any complaints on record for the activities?
No complaints. Again, this was a violation. They saw the road being constructed and wondered what was going on. So no, we have no complaints. It's just we're just trying to bring them into compliance with this permit. The
activity that's going on there is allowed in that zoning, and we just need a use permit
to make it in compliance. Correct.
So who would bring that to the attention of the county? Is that something?
A neighbor, I don't know off the top of my head, but a neighbor or someone, it could have been us driving by looking at some other potential complaint. But as we stated before, to bring things into compliance and enforcement, either people regulate themselves or people hopefully come in for these permits. Usually it takes someone else complaining to bring these into, or at least to our attention.
Looks like it's a pretty well-run operation, though, from what I can see here. Huh?
Correct. Here's an aerial photo taken in about 2015. The site contains 2 houses, barn storage building, 2 sheds at the rear of the property. Currently, water is from the Pixley Irrigation District. The property has direct access to Road 128. The proposed project will not conflict with agriculture, as there's agriculture currently occurring on the property, and the property owner is required to sign a right to farm notice as well. And it is noted that no conditions of approval were recommended by the County Public Works, because these folks are so far along in doing what is right here. The Public Works didn't have any additional comments as far as the approach and as far as the frontage or the type of drive necessary. Obviously, it's an all-weather surface. So we like this project because it is so far easterly of the roadway. It is set back so far. Views into the property, as you'll see, are pretty de minimis, so that they've screened it fairly well just by the location and nature of this project.
I think I could land my airplane there.
So as an overview of the site, it is in compliance with our general plan as far as agricultural, keeping ag in the county. And as far as the screening and support facilities, we find that the project is definitely in compliance with the general plan. And I just wanted to also mention one more time how far back east of the roadway this is located. And as you've said before, if we do these things right, they're more easily approved. And I think these folks have, maybe by the nature of the project, but they've done everything right so far. Viewing the site from Road 128, the proposed operation of the contractor storage yard is located on the eastern side of the property. This is the western side with the view in. The existing buildings and parking of the trailers are shielded by the fence with two gates. The south entry and north are for the existing facility, so it has 2 points of access. The driveways are also used by the owner for accessing the owner's dwelling. Here's another view of the entry. You can see the dwelling. This is the applicant's home, which has not changed its appearance and will remain as his residence. The driveway is of asphalt and divides the property from the agricultural uses on the north side. And here's a picture of the agricultural uses. The applicant owner uses the northwest area for agriculture, and his family participates in the agricultural operations of planting, carrying, and harvesting. Access to the contractor's yard is from the same driveway that is utilized by the homes, and the owner said that he has used asphalt in the construction and has maintained it in good condition, which appears to be an all-weather driveway. Hence, no comments from Public Works. The facility is fenced with two gates. The contractor storage yard cannot be seen from Road 128 since the yard is located at the rear of the property, and we're still at this point into the property, and you can barely see the storage yard. Here's a panoramic view of the yard inside the fenced gated area. I'm going to step back here for 1 second. You can see the fenced area blocking views into the contractor storage yard directly. Once inside of those fencings, you can see the applicant started to put down rock base and was beginning to lay asphalt, but stopped pending the special use permit application. So they're in the processes of pouring asphalt over that area. The contractor storage yard, buildings, and chicken coop within the fence area are located along the eastern, as stated, they're located along the eastern edge of the property. And with that, staff makes the recommendation that this commission approve a categorical exemption consistent with the CEQA and the state CEQA guidelines pertaining to new construction or conversion of small structures, and conditionally approve special use permit PSP 14-021. That concludes staff's presentation. If you have any questions for me or the applicant, they are here as well, and they are prepared to speak on behalf of their project.
These are the applicants. I just want to make a comment. We get projects in here all the time that are not in compliance and don't have a use permit, and there's usually a dozen things that we've got to do to bring them up to compliance, and I have to commend you guys. Even though you didn't have a use permit, you did everything right, and that's what we like to see, and I, for one, really support this project. So thank you so much for doing the right thing without being told to.
I do have a question. How long have they been doing business in that location?
We're going to need them to come forward because we're taping this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Maybe open the
Okay,
public.
Eight years.
Let me open a public comment. So if you could come up to the podium and repeat that, give your name and address, and
Hi, my name is Alexandra Rodriguez,
And Misael Nunez.
and can I have your address, please?
8072 Road 128 in Pixie, California, 93256.
8072
Road 128.
Road 128 in Pixley, California, 93256.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you. You can answer. You
And
wanna
now I'll
repeat?
ask the question again. How long have you been doing business in that location?
Been doing business in that location for 8 years.
Thank you.
We've been on business on that location for 8 years.
And we just want to say that the contracting site is specifically for storing the equipment that he needs in order to carry out his job. His employer requires the equipment so that he can successfully abide by the regulations in agriculture for his workers. And so the only purpose of the storage site is to have everything at easy access, since they are constantly moving crews in and out, and we can't leave the equipment on the site of wherever they're picking overnight, so we bring it back almost daily.
Ya no puedo más.
Okay, and at the moment, that's all we'd like to say. If you have any more questions, we'd be open to answer that.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing none, we're going to close the public comment and move on to some type of motion or final discussion.
I make a motion that we approve the categorical exemption consistent with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the state CEQA guidelines pursuant to Title 14, Class 3 pertaining to new construction or conversion of a small structure, and conditionally approve the special use permit number PSP 14-021.
Second that?
Moved and second. Roll call, please.
Gong,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Diaz,
Yes.
Whitlatch,
I think we should draw this out 5 more minutes. Yes.
Piliano,
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Okay, it's been special use permit PSP 14-021 has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5, the director's report, and we're finished with your section there, unless you want to attend the rest of this meeting. So you're welcome to leave. Yeah. But we could be exciting too, you know.
I don't think so, no.
You know, John says you don't think so.
Pretty boring group.
Okay, item 5, director's report, planning commissioner update. Get some excitement in here, Mike.
Okay, we got exciting times. I know the last couple of meetings have been kind of not packed, but for each individual that brings their project forward, it's just as important whether you have a packed agenda or not. But for the individuals, it matters to them. So we appreciate the commission coming together for this. As we've been talking about recently, a number of community plans, the housing element, and all that. So now we're really getting close here. We're looking at September 23rd, which would be our next meeting, to have a GPA PZ zone change for self-help enterprises for a subdivision in Goshen, and we're proposing to try to get that ready for your next meeting. So that's something that we're trying to move forward. We're planning to come forward as part or after the Goshen community plan, but we don't want to hold them up at all, so that's why we're bringing it forward in advance.
Is that affordable housing?
It's affordable housing.
Yeah.
They're close to their existing projects on Betty Drive,
It's the next phase. It's to the
east.
We approved that, right, though? Because we went in phases?
No, this is new. You haven't already approved this.
So they completed, because they went in phases in that first bunch, too. So that's built out.
That's built out. It's
Okay.
about, if not complete, it's almost complete.
All right.
This is a whole
That's another project.
Approximately the same size of all of what self-help was there. You know, we're going to replicate it one more time. It's not exactly the same mapping, but about the same size of the project.
Can I get my bus stop out there now?
We sure hope so.
All right. I asked for one last time and we didn't get it.
And we're still looking into that. I think you'll see in the next coming year, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on transit and meeting needs there. So
TK.
that's
could always go speak at the TCAG meeting about your bus stop too. Yeah. Fun.
So, anyway, so that should be next week, or next meeting. Then, after that, we're looking at bringing the community plans for Ducor and Carabello to your commission on October 14th. So that's tentatively, that's when we're looking at having those two community plans. As well as there's a couple other GPAs that we're trying to fast track as well, and we're limited to only 4 general plan amendments a year. Okay, we did one for the city of Porterville when we did the boundary there, and then we did one when we just recently came back with Pixley, Tifton, and Strathmore community plans. We need to reserve one for the housing. So that remains one other time, which will be for the Carabella and Ducor community plans. And we have a couple smaller projects that were development-specific GPAs. So we're going to try to tag those onto the Carabella Ducor one as well. So we come at one time for that. And I just mentioned self-help is also a general plan amendment, but because it's 100% affordable housing, it doesn't count towards those 4 amendments. You can do as many of those as you need to, and it doesn't count to the total 4. So on October 4th, we'll be bringing Carabella Ducor, or October 14th, I'm sorry. But then we also have a project for driven construction. They're putting in a shop near Tulare that we're trying to get that in time for Beyond Athlete, as well as Dollar General in Poplar. That will require general plan amendments as well. So those two will try to tag into this. If they don't make it here, then we have to wait till January. So that's why we're going to try to get them caught up to the community plans. And then that brings us to the housing element, which we need to get approved by your commission as well as adopted by the board before the end of the year. So we're in a little time constraints on this. It's the draft plan is currently at HCD under review. They have a 60-day window to look at it and give us comments back, and then we're going to immediately turn it around and get it before your commission. So what we're looking at to be able to meet the timeline that we're trying to get to the Board of Supervisors on November 17th would require us to come to you before that. Well, unfortunately, November 11th is Veterans Day. So we're not having a meeting on Veterans Day, so we were thinking about doing a special meeting the previous week on the 4th. However, this venue is booked on the 4th. So we're looking at November 5th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
What day of the week is that?
What?
What day of the week is
Thursday.
the 5th? That's a Thursday.
November 5th at 1:30.
Ugh, it's terrible.
That works. We're open. I mean, we can still, it doesn't really matter. I mean, we can still flex that around.
I'm better later in the day on Thursday. That's my only really bad day is Thursday.
So later in the afternoon?
Yeah, later in the afternoon
Like
work.
3 o'clock?
Yeah, 3, 4 o'clock-ish, somewhere in there.
I don't know if we should, I don't know if we should go to
Well, I don't
My
want you to
brain's
get caught.
gone then.
I don't want you to get caught in traffic.
3 o'clock. I think
I could make that.
The room is not available. We'd have to do it back at RMA.
the other option is we could hold it down at the RMA or another location.
Yeah.
We're not, the old planning commission room is not set up with microphones recording as it had been in the past, so
Yeah.
that becomes a little bit of a challenge.
Well, another thing I'd like to suggest on that is to also get us the draft online as soon as possible, so we can.
Draft is actually online currently.
Yeah.
I'll make sure, we'll have them send out a link to.
Yeah, so we could start looking at that.
Draft is under review by Steve currently.
Okay, that would be very helpful.
Was there an option for Tuesday afternoon?
There was an option for Tuesday. I just don't have the times with me for the Tuesday.
Because the board meets Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
There's potential we can do it for Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, Tuesday is a lot better.
Is that the 3rd or the
That would
10th?
be the 3rd.
And how soon would you firm this date up?
Well, we'd like to firm it as soon as possible, but for legal noticing, we've got a
Tuesday
lot of
the
time
3rd.
to do it. But we want for your schedules to
Yeah.
accommodate that, we want to try to firm it up as soon as possible.
I vote for Tuesday, wherever it is.
That's a Tuesday, November 3rd.
At whatever time on Tuesday or just late in the afternoon?
Whatever's good for the room. It's good for me.
The board has a meeting.
Board has a
tomorrow,
meeting in,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
have to talk to
afternoon or
Michelle.
what?
we'll talk to Michelle and get back.
Probably about 1:30 though,
I
probably.
would think 1:30. If we're going to do it in the afternoon, 1:30 is usually
Yeah. Okay.
Looking at the 3rd, maybe, at 1:30?
November 3rd at 1:30.
Can't have it on the 2nd. You could all bring presents. That's my birthday.
Thank goodness we don't have to.
Yeah.
You might still be celebrating.
Yeah, but
I'll be 71. I don't think so.
No big deal.
1:30?
That's what, I will tentatively do that. I will check with Michelle, to see what the status of the room is for that afternoon. I believe that it's open, but
You gonna start
Oh, we have to check.
Ira this year, huh?
always some people.
I already did. It's gone.
Just let me know, Michael, because I
In the
gotta,
real estate business.
I gotta let my
Did
boss
you
know.
expect
or my
any
employer.
public participation in that?
it's hard to say. There very may well be some people from Leadership Council that might come and make a comment. I'm not certain.
What's
A
the-
lot of times- It's kind of hard to tell because sometimes people will come to the planning commission meeting and talk. Other times you don't hear anything and then they show up at the board instead.
That's true. That's
So
true.
it's hard to tell.
What's the noticing requirements on that for planning commission?
We put a notice in the newspaper. There's no individual mailing out. However, we send out things to all the individuals, interested parties and groups that we've been working with. We have a housing element advisory committee, so we have a number of interested parties and groups there. They'll all be
Yeah.
noticed as well.
It sounds like that should go in a newspaper that actually serves the county in its unincorporated area, not just one that is declining in readership right now. Just a suggestion. Because I know there'd be,
I believe that we've in the past round of the housing element, we published in multiple papers.
yeah, well, I can tell you, if you put it in Terrors, there would be someone who would come.
That's why they
I
don't.
can almost
That's
guarantee
what you
it.
don't want to.
But that's what you're looking for. so.
With that, I'll pass it on to.
Just wanted to make a comment. We are currently also working on 2 grants that we've received, roughly $500,000 for. One is the Highway 99 corridor study, which we received and been working on through the community plans over the last 2 years. And then another one is for disadvantaged communities. It's akin to SB 244. So those studies are related to infrastructure analysis and potential changes to land use policy in the county. So we're engrossed in those these days as well. So hopefully, come the beginning of next year, we'll be able to bring at least some of those projects over to you as well.
Well, too bad different agencies, because it sounds, I mean, they kind of mesh both disadvantaged communities and the corridors, so it's too bad there couldn't be one study.
Well, yeah, and then the grant, it's actually both of them are through the Sustainable Growth Council.
Oh, so it is.
But they are different in the fact that these community plans reach to the unincorporated communities as we have them. The additional grant for disadvantaged communities would reach further into the hamlets. So it's really a great opportunity.
Aaron, make sure you, and I know you're going to do it, but look at the solar side of that, because the state's mandated that the power companies provide programs for these underserved and disadvantaged communities on some solar projects. And they're offering or requiring, I shouldn't say requiring, but the power companies are offering more incentives on projects to make it more feasible for the investors to come in and build these things. So that should be a part of the study, I would think.
Is that an ad?
I just confirmed that I checked with the clerk that, so we're scheduled for the 3rd at 1:30.
1:30, that is?
1:30.
Bill, you'll send us
That's contingent, because there is a board meeting. You never know how a board meeting might go, but
Yeah.
I think 1:30 we're safe.
So, and that was November, right?
November 3rd.
And we won't have November 11th.
Correct.
Good morning, Hector
He
Guerrero.
already had his chance. And he said,
I just thought of stuff, like we bring business to the commission so they could do, their duties and have public input and public hearings and get everybody involved. But there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that are what I like to call public benefit projects. Like the juvenile detention facility, we had to get them special notices of exemption on an emergency basis to drill 2 new wells. We get that a lot. We'll get something like roads projects where they're doing some asphalt repaving, new overlays, safe routes to schools. Those things, they're all categorically exempt, and they're all public benefits projects, and they really don't need deliberation in front of everybody. But there are other projects that do require that more robust review, and when we come to you, we like giving you a good product so you can make good decisions. And I think everything that's gone through you, upon appeal to the board, a lot of the decisions you are making are based on pretty good studies that we've compiled and staff reports and environmental documents. So it really has been a team effort, and just wanted to thank you for doing such a good job and listening and asking really good questions.
Okay, no other director's report. Let's move on to item 6, Planning Commission discussion for future item agenda.
I've got a few comments. This is probably a good place to put it. It's not for a future agenda, but, we all get phone calls from residents here in the county on one issue or another. I know Bill gets a bunch of them. He's got, for some reason, a lot of people that complain to him. But
They don't like me.
But anyway, I had a couple of calls over the last month or so, and most of them, the calls that I get, I can handle, and I don't have to bring them forward. But 2 of them I thought would probably have some discussions, and it's too bad Mike Bonds isn't here, but you guys will maybe pass it on to him. One of the comments was I got a call about the scenic corridor on 198, and that it is looking pretty rough, and there's a lot of weeds on it, and it's just not what we would like. It's not scenic, right. And the comment was that when we're rationing water, we don't need weeds competing with the landscape that we want to keep. So they just thought that it could look better. And it's not just the little weeds, but I drove by it, and there's big clumps of Johnson grass and all kinds of these little weeds that go up like that. And so I don't know. I know the crews from the county jails used to go down there and do some of that work. I don't know if they can still do that stuff or if their liberal attorneys got them off. But and then the other call I got was from the owner of the land just north of the landfill on Road 180. The guy that has the trees all through there. He says that the county is really not abating the tumbleweeds out there well enough, and they're blowing into his yard, loading his fence up, loading his ditches up, getting into his orchards. And as you know, in those tumbleweeds, every roll they just put hundreds of seeds out through there, and then he's fighting these things. So not only is he picking them up, but then he's fighting the next year the tumbleweeds over there. So he says everyone else out there does a clean job. There's the only neighbor out there that's causing any problems is the landfill out there, and so he'd like somebody to do a little better job on abating particularly the tumbleweeds and pulling them off the fences and before they get into his place.
We can certainly pass that on to solid waste. On the scenic corridor, was there a specific segment from where to where?
I asked that. He says most of it was from Plaza into town that he drove, but he says he'd been down clear. He says that there's areas all the way to Exeter that that really, but the roughest was on the west side of town here, I think.
Most of that is Caltrans maintains that.
Right.
Caltrans guys still come to TCAG?
Yes.
That'd be a good place to mention.
I'll pass it on to Will Jackson.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
I just wanted to say that that program for June Lake Mammoth, that should be going live by the 10th or so, I'm told now. And as soon as it is, I'll broadcast an email around so everybody can sign up, because it's the accommodations. There's quite a few places, but of course there's one that's a little more central, so we'll want to all grab that as soon as possible. So I'll fire that out the minute I get it.
You'll have all the numbers and the contacts and everything.
Oh yeah, and the price and everything's already up there. It's $199, so it hasn't gone up from last year, and there's lots of perks that are being donated by some of the area businesses there, and and the county itself is really getting behind it. So this is a very small county too, and they want to put on a good show, and I think it's going to be really a great conference. So, like I said, it should be within this week, but certainly by the beginning of next week.
What's the name of the Prime Hotel?
I can't tell you right now, but they're not chains. There's no chains up there, so we'll have those, and I'll indicate the one of preference so that you guys can grab that.
The one that I was in where they had a fire alarm, was it?
Yeah, that's
Had to go out.
No, that was in Los Banos.
No, that was up in G Lake. So.
Oh, really?
Long time ago.
Yeah, last conference we had somebody tripped the fire alarm on Sunday morning. That was kind of fun.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
This was an actual fire.
It was a little drill, anyway.
But
But
an actual fire. Someone threw a cigarette in the trash somewhere. Okay. Anything else?
I will not be here at the next meeting, so
We're gonna miss you.
Mexico.
Really?
Mexico.
Do you speak Spanish?
Can be on the run.
Un
Just a little
poquito?
bit.
Know a lot.
what part? What part, Gil?
Just south of Laredo, so about 1,700 miles from here.
Nice.
Drug
Trip
dealers.
there, then. Okay, let's go on to item 7, adjournment of the meeting. We'll reconvene on September 23rd for another exciting meeting.
Those poor people in those